The fishing pier would be on the Fisherman Wives side of the bridge.
Okay. I stand corrected and I thank you.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mr. President. Being the council representative on the Waterway Board, I sat through a very limited amount of meetings for this, but I do remember it came up last year, and there were similar questions that we're having tonight. Personally, I am in favor of fishing. I would like to see a pier eventually somewhere in the city. I put this out on a couple of the local forums the past few days, and the biggest thing that came back was they weren't opposed of the fishing pier, they were opposed of the location. So, you know, that being said, you know, I'm not up here to vote for my personal preference. I'm here to vote for the majority of the people that I represent. So, you know, I just think it needs to be tweaked a little bit more, or we could find a better place for this to be. I know that this was mapped out by the state, but from what I'm hearing from the residents, you know, they're not supporting it. So I'm going to have to vote with the residents. No.
I don't mean to put insult on top of insult, but you gave a response to a Councilor Berger saying that we wouldn't be liable if we decided after pulled out. Did you have the authority to do that?
Can you please repeat the question?
Councilor Berger asked you a question saying, okay, let's say we did this and we signed to do the project, and then when the project was coming in front of us, we didn't like this and we decided to pull out. Would we be liable or would we have to? And you said no. But do you have the authority to say no?
Well, the land management agreement establishes that the project, once it's entered into, then the project moves forward, except in the rare case that both parties agree to dispose.
But if the city pulled out?
The city cannot pull out.
That's what we asked you, and you said yes, and I said you have the authority, so the city cannot pull out once we sign the agreement.
Once you sign the agreement.
Exactly, thank you.
Councilor Wyman.
I mean, I can't see the city of Gloucester pulling out because we don't like the looks of it. But what if it's an attractive nuisance and people are jumping off the end of it and people are getting hurt and we decide we don't want it anymore?
Our rules and regulations are very specific on what the fishing pier can be used for.
Yeah.
Fishing pier is for fishing. If people are using it for other purposes, they're not allowed, and fines can be assessed.
By who?
By any law enforcement official.
Like the beaches, sorry.
Anything further, Councilor Cox?
I'm still a little confused as where we're at. In my time on the council, we've never been presented with something that has so little detail or so little information. Some of the bigger projects that we've said yes to, I mean, we knew what color the siding was going to be and where it was made. I mean, we have nothing here. And when it is being presented to us from the Waterways Board, and then I hear that they don't really, it's not in their realm of expertise to be presenting it to us. And so there's got to be some other city department that would be better at managing this project. I am not against this project. So has it been explored? Have you worked with the administration to try to hand this off to harbor planning or somebody within community development? Because as it is, it's not something that,
We are told that you are the only body that can authorize the signing of the land management agreement for the mayor. That's what that
and
is.
that very well may be true, but we need to have a better, solid presentation. Because as I said, there's a lot of us up here that wouldn't mind seeing a fishing pier, but it doesn't seem like everything has been.
As you know, I'm usually here as an attorney representing some project. In that case, I have a whole lot more control over the engineer and the project scope. And that's why I say we have a bit of a catch-22 I mentioned earlier, is that we're giving you what we have. We recognize this opportunity. We asked a lot of these same questions. I wanted, I'm used to detailed project presentations, sometimes with very big budgets. But we're giving you what we have from the Waterways Board. It's an opportunity, and we're doing what we can do from the Waterways Board. We have no authority over this land management agreement. We support the concept of a pier. We sort of understand what it's going to look like, where it's going to be. We really have looked every place, and we don't think there is any other place it is going to go. And certainly, if you need more information, we can try to get the state to give you some more information.
But if you're not qualified to even present this project to us, then how am I supposed to believe that this is the best location for it? Because I'm not hearing any other studies.
The state is qualified to say where it can go. And when Kate Banks and I walked around, we were told all the other places we thought were good ideas were inappropriate for either wave action, no fish, or eelgrass. So we really came down to this.
Magnolia has a fishing pier. They have a little pier.
But it's not a fishing pier.
It's not a fishing pier, but if they have a pier, I mean, that's not a viable location?
Well, no, there's no fish. I mean, you need to have it in a place. The first qualification is a place where you can
How's there no
fish.
fish?
Well, that's part of the study, actually, that they've already done.
Councilors I think we're going round and round here. I do have, if I may, but I'm not asking any questions. Mr. Cadamatore, I don't want to put you on the spot, but should you, I have a couple of process questions.
You thought you were going to sit pretty?
He's saving his power. If the council were to support this, support the mayor's entering into an agreement with the city, with the state to build it, do we still have to go through a permitting process? It have to go before Concom and everybody else?
Yes, it would.
Okay, Concom, who else would be relevant authority on something of this scale?
I'm not familiar with the specifications or the size of this.
At a minimum, it would be Concom.
What's that?
At a minimum, Concom.
At a minimum, it would be Concom. There are certain thresholds for sizes of projects that could also involve the NEPA process as well.
All right. Well, councilors, I think.
Mr. President, I have one question that's not been posed.
Sure.
And the question is this, it's in your, sorry, it's just sort of distant. You specified that the state would be responsible for building and maintaining the pier, but there was a little line about the city.
Not maintaining.
Let the man answer.
I thought maintenance was included, yeah. But it said that the city would be responsible for managing. I just want to know what falls under the heading of management.
The way our land management agreement works is that the city is responsible for the day-to-day management and minor maintenance. That minor maintenance would be if there were trash barrels that need to be emptied, grass to be cut, details like that. Management would mean that the facility would be open to the general public on equal terms. So when it comes to capital improvements for major repairs to the fishing pier, the Commonwealth is responsible for that. One thing that's important to point out is that the city and the state are partners, would be partners in this project. And so just like a developer would have partners, and they would come together and they would put a plan together and come to an agreement on what's going to work and what they're going to put forward. That's the same approach that we would take with the city. is the city would be actively involved in the design of this structure. And we would ask for some input from the city that we take serious consideration of. And so it's not that you're not part of this and you won't have any input on it. It certainly would. It's in the city of Gloucester. It's a project of both the city and the Commonwealth, and we want to work with the city on this, and we want to have a very solid, very good project. And if it isn't at this location, we want to work with the city in another location. And so we're not forcing this upon you. It's an opportunity that we saw. We wanted to bring it before the city council and the city to try to see if we could come together and work on something. That's the essence of what we're trying to do. And the fact that we don't have a lot of detail on this is because we don't have the baseline information at this point. In order to move forward on it, it's a very expensive process, and we need to know and have a certainty of some degree that, look, we've got a partner in this, and the partner is willing to move forward with us.
Councilors, I'm going to Councilor Blank will preface.
So basically what you're saying, the money will still be on the table if we don't vote this tonight. It's not going to be withdrawn, and, you know, this grant will still be available to the city, because it sounds to me like we all agree on a fishing pier at some point, someplace in the city, but just not at that site.
But certainly, I mean, we would take any other opportunity into consideration, and we move forward on that as well. I mean, we have a number of projects that we're entertaining statewide, and so it's not like